what do you do if your birds don't get on? Let's explore the topic in this video. Hello everyone, welcome back to The Parrot Teacher. I'm David and just me today in a nice quiet room because I wanted to get a nice peaceful filming session done rather than having screaming birds or naughty birds around. So today we are talking about what do you do if your bird doesn't like another bird? Either a bird you bring into your new environment or a bird that's come into the new environment and it dislikes the existing bird. It's a problem that frequently crops up. I have great resources on how to house and cage birds together. I have great resources on how to initially bond, which we'll explore a little bit of it in this video as well because it does cross over. But yeah, what do you do when that happens? It's going to be very stressful and can be quite difficult, so it's worth exploring the topic. Now, one of the first things I like to say before you even bring a bird into your house or environment, whether it's an existing bird or whatever setup you have aviary, is observe the other bird in whatever environment they're in. Do as much research you can into what their environment is. Are they a rescue? You know, what's the pet shop been doing, etc. Wherever you get them from the breeder. And then make sure you know. And also, don't forget, you want to be going through your usual procedures of having disease testing first, and also a quarantine period, which is useful not just to keep your bird safe or them safe, but to learn the bird's behaviours in the environment. You can see how they interact through sound from a distance. You can just learn how they're going to get on with each other. Then obviously if you introduce them into the room, you want plenty of space between them so they have their own territories. Because if they don't get on with each other, then at least they have their own spaces and you can manage it a lot more effectively. A lot of people rush in, try and put birds in the same cage and it ends in disaster, or try and have birds right next to each other and that also ends in disaster. Now, not all the time, sometimes it works out perfectly, but most of the time you're going to have a middle ground or you have an extreme bad thing. So my advice initially is just check into things, make sure they have their own territory, so if they don't get on, at least you can work with that and it's going to be a lot less stressful and there's less likelihood of injury to either bird. Now sadly, the next thing that you need to do when your birds hate each other, I know it's an anthropomorphic term, but you know, whatever, is you're going to have to be really involved in their training. You're going to have to basically teach them that they're okay and that they can be in the same space, and that's where the other video comes in. But just to touch on it now, you're going to have to be closely supervising them. You're going to have to be bringing them together with communal foraging, where they're basically sharing a big tray of food on opposite ends, observing how close you can get. You're going to have to maybe bring one to the other cage and see how close you can get, work on desensitization. You're going to have to work on communal training. Maybe you can bring their cages closer together for a short period and do some training through the bars, then get used to each other. And it's going to be requiring lots of close observation because time will help you here. Sometimes there's that initial shock where the birds are like, what's going on? Over time, that will improve, especially if you put the work in. So that would be my biggest tip and biggest takeaway for you guys in this video, if you can. When your birds dislike each other, work on it, take the time, observe them very closely and use techniques. It can take a lot of time. Pickles and Scampi initially hated each other, but over time, I think it was 8 months, they bonded and now they share the same cage and they love each other. It just takes work and time sometimes. One other thing I wanted to mention as well is manage your expectations. That could be a real big problem with us. We expect, you know, sometimes these fantasy stories we see online, and it is perpetuated a lot. So manage your expectations, take a very sort of level view, and you'll set yourself up for more success, because then any sort of success you do have will be a lot better, a lot more sort of, I don't know, motivating for us, and you can work on it. Don't rush either. Rushing these experiences makes things worse. If you try and rush your birds into the same cage, and they don't have enough space, it's going to cause you a lot of trouble. So be very careful there. Take your time, manage your expectations, and you'll be much more successful. And that is another really important thing. The environment is going to play a major role in how well they get on. You may see a lot of more wealthy people who have lots of birds, and you wonder, how did that happen? Well, part of it's they hide a lot of it, a lot of people do. The other part of it is they have a lot of space, and the more space your birds have, the more likely they may not necessarily get on, but less likely they are going to fight. If they have their own cage spaces, if they have a lot of space to move in, there's less of a territorial issue there, and you have a lot more flexibility to work on when you're working on their relationship. Similarly in an aviary setup as well. If you have a massive aviary, as long as you go through the sort of common sense steps on introducing them, you can get away with a lot more. And the final tip, because I keep on thinking of more as I do this video, don't forget your bird, if you have a bird in your environment already and they're really closely bonded to you, they may be seeing you as their flock. Another bird comes in, they may not be experienced with dealing with other birds, so you may have to teach them, again, that that is okay and that they can share you as a resource. And that can work in many, many ways. So again, it is a complex topic. If you really struggle with it, don't forget to reach out to our business, Best Behaved Birds. We help a lot of people with these problems and go through it in step-by-steps, as well as like looking at individual circumstances, because each individual environment is going to be different, each individual bird's experience and personality is going to be different, so you have to be very careful there. But if you have any comments, questions, or you want a really quick fire answer, happy to talk to you in the comments. But in the meantime, take care and see you later.